you're going to ask somebody if they're okay, be prepared to act if they say they're not. Okay. If they tell you, hey, how you doing? Just could be that guy. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, you okay? That's what you feel like you have to do. You're playing that role. If they say they're not, be prepared to act.
Firehouse Vigilance presents The Weekly Scrap, a podcast dedicated to the never-ending fight against complacency.
Moore, Firehouse Vigilance. We are going live on location at the Orlando Fire Conference, the 22nd conference. Very, very excited. Panel today, Walt Lewis, Maddie Johnson, Robert Ramirez. We got a live audience in person. We got a live audience on Facebook.
Let's go.
We'll do the challenge back and forth, Facebook versus live as we go.
I bet Facebook wins. This crowd, you think it'd be a little more lively?
These guys got it.
We'll see how it goes. All right. They're logging in. We're getting going. I'm going to kick it off with the easy, just a soft toss question. Because we're here live at the Orlando Fire Conference, I'm going to ask each of you what the Orlando Fire Conference has kind of meant to the area, to the fire service. Events like this, not just this one, but also all events, what they mean. Robert, I'll kick it with you. We'll come towards me.
Oh, right on. Can you guys hear me? Yes?
Thanks, Rob.
We're going to need an assistant for this trick, so you guys at least nod.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. So the Orlando Fire Conference to me is something, again, like it is to most of the guys in South Florida. It's professional and personal. It was, for me, the first opportunity I had to start teaching in the fire conference arena. They allowed me an opportunity because of my relationship with the guys in Fort Lauderdale, their relationship with Maddie, Negley, and Steve, that they allowed us an opportunity to participate and be introduced to this wonderful world of conferences. It's my 11th year coming out here. So different from other fire conferences that we do throughout the country. This was a home turf and it's very near and dear to my heart. And I see the same faces every year. It's part of the highlight of my month. I look forward to it, no lie, every February. Same faces, like-minded individuals, and brothers from our sister fire department and sister fire conference up in Central Florida.
Maddie.
Well, I mean, it's pretty special. I mean, this is the second best conference in the state of Florida, behind the Fort Lauderdale Fire Conference. Let's get that out there right now. Just kidding.
It's called the Fort Lauderdale Fire Expo, by the way.
Whatever. Tomato. This is like a reunion for me. It's like getting to see friends that you don't get to see for a long time. And again, super like-minded. And it's just the passion. It's like that brotherhood recharge or sisterhood recharge. And it's amazing. Everyone's in good spirits here. It's like, no matter what's going on, you come back here and you leave with a smile on your face. Ready to go back to work.
Sure. I had the great fortune of helping to get the conference started. So years ago with Matt's vision, he saw something better than what some of the conferences that were out in the world going on. I knew we could do it better, cheaper, and with better student interaction than what the other conferences are doing. And he's been truly right, and ever since. So his brother's been carrying the great tradition going on. Sadly, we've lost Matt along the way, but to have that energy and recharge of bringing everybody in. For the new members that are coming in, awesome. Good for you. Thank you for coming. For those that are repeat customers, thank you even more, because we want to make this better each year. There's been a couple of times early on, we're like, hey, we hit a couple years and maybe we should, cut our losses and this is it. And we lost the apartment complex or we lost other resources, but Matt's tenacity would not let this go away. And I'm very thankful he did, because to me, it's been opportunity to work with some of the finest fire service individuals walking. I'm jealous of folks in the past that got to be firefighters in the 80s and the 70s and the war years. But if I couldn't work with them then, I get to work with some of them now. Guys like Nicky Giordano and Mike Champo and Jerry Tracy and John Salka and hundreds of others have graced these stages and been in front of the students. And it's the modern teachers that are out here now. It's the Eric Wheatons and the Basil Ibrahims. You guys, it's freaking awesome. So for my time in the fire service, whatever's left of it, I'm going to ride this wave and enjoy the crap out of it.
I love it. I'm going to start with Walt and go backwards. Just give a brief introduction of yourself for everybody who may not know who you are.
So my name is Walt Lewis. I'm a firefighter for the city of Orlando. Been there for 27 years. I currently hold the rank of assistant chief. Fortunately, back in August, I was given the command of B shift. B shift. Woo, somebody's got to come to work that day.
Come to work that day.
They're a great bunch. I came from District 1C shift and I had an amazing group of folks to work with there. But getting the step up and taking over command of a shift, a little different perspective. In previous, I was overseeing operations with a district, with a group of crews and very motivated individuals. Now I have to always remind myself I'm leading leaders. It's these district chiefs that are running their commands, and my job is to support them to make sure that their operation runs to the best of ability, because every person at the end of the hose line, starting an IV, taking care of a patient, taking care of Mrs. Smith, they need the magic to happen. So for me to be in my position, I take it as a true honor to have that distinguishment, to be able to do that job. I love it. My brothers have both been in the fire service. My father was in the fire service. It was either that or being a fireman or a trash man. They both ride on Coolican trucks. This one's got a little more prestige and doesn't smell so bad. It's a good rig, good job, and a lot of cool people. So loved it all the way.
Right on. Maddie.
Worked for the city of Fort Lauderdale Fire Department. Before that, I worked for City of Marathon down in the Keys. I kind of did it backwards. Usually you work for a really busy department, then you go relax. I went backwards and got back on an ambulance for a little bit. And yeah, now I'm working in the city of Fort Lauderdale. I was lucky enough when I was down in Marathon, we had a pretty strong training culture for such a small department, especially not getting a lot of jobs. And Orlando is actually one of the first conferences, actually the first conference that I came to. And it's just been a blessing to come back here ever since. Now, I guess we're going to talk about later. I've really got to experience Brotherhood. And it's amazing to come here and see faces that have helped me through a really tough time. And this is just really amazing. I'm really happy to be here.
Solid.
Good job, Maddie. Rob Ramirez, born and raised in Miami, Florida. I'm not gonna give you my whole bio. 22 years in the fire department, and I work for the city of Margate in Broward County. I operate as a captain there on a truck, and I've been teaching for a little while with the guys here in Orlando and some other places. Honestly, it's a home run. This is more selfish than you would ever understand. And the reason I say that is because it's not about what you gather, it's about what you scatter. And in the process of scattering, making friends, learning from each other, building relationships, this has probably been one of the highlights of my career, is going out and meeting people like you guys, people on this stage. Corley Moore is in Oklahoma, I'm in Miami. We talk all the time. We see each other all the time. We'll see each other twice more over the next 2 weeks in other states. It's a home run. It's a selfish endeavor, but so rewarding because honestly, like, you want to leave it better than you found it. And I don't feel like I've been in the fire department for 22 years at all. Like, I say that out loud and it sounds weird to me. It doesn't really make sense because I still feel like I have so much more to go. And I really don't. My time's running out. But I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I will pass it back to you, Mr. Moore.
I love it. Now, I want to dig in on what you said, which is, it doesn't feel like 22 years. I'm kicking it back to Walt, who I think is the senior, long in the tooth among us.
Most experience, yes.
Yeah, most experienced.
Hung out the longest.
But I want to say that, like when you started, how invincible were you versus the wisdom you've learned since, like journey?
Oh, for sure. So it's definitely transitioned. And to go from fireman to assistant chief, when I was a firefighter, I feared no evil. It was all me. The risks were mine. So, and at the time, the rescue truck, they would split. So it was not uncommon for me to be the sole inside person, according to our SOPs. And I'd meet up with the company officer on the hose line, like, hey, Lou, I'm going to go search. And boop. And there was no dog on a leash anymore. Now, as you graduate up, your company officers, chief officers, that when you've got that dog on a leash, you got to pull a little bit. And you want those dogs to want to pull away and do hard work. I really don't like having to say, would you please go do your job? Not fun. That's not what the citizens expect. It's not what we should expect from each other. But now as a supervisor, I have to make sure that those folks are given the right opportunities to get to where they need to go to do that job, to achieve that mission, because that's what we expect of them. So to go from what was the young Walt Lewis 100 years ago, that my knees feel like it anyway, to go that far back, it's a lifetime ago, literally. I've got a 25-year-old son. I love him dearly, but to think of what life was before he showed up and I was in the fire service then, and to what life has given me now, with a 10 and 12-year-old home and a wonderful wife that allow me to do all the great things I do. It is such a diverse transition, but like these guys said, it happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Maddie, different journey than most.
Yes.
Start to current.
Very much so. like I said, started off a marathon. It was very different than where I'm at right now in Fort Lauderdale as far as manpower is concerned. You've got a 2-man engine. You're sitting there working a structure fire with 2 people for probably about the first 15, 20 minutes, especially if the ambulance is out. So I got a lot of really, really, really good experience down there and became capable. And I think that really fueled me wanting to come out and come to these conferences and, you know, kind of weasel my way into the situation to where, hey man, let me help out here and do this, and to get to eventually get to a teaching platform. And yeah, and again, like I said, I got to really experience the power, I guess, of the Brotherhood. Getting into a dark place in this job is very easy. And I know a lot of people are hurting, and it got to an extreme point with me. But I think that because of stuff like this and the guys that sit there and really care and do that stuff, I was able to lean on actually a lot of the guys that are in this room right now and really get to where I need to be and learning to love the job and love my life again. So it's been an amazing journey.
Love it. Same journey. I've actually only had a job, guys. I started this at 16 years old, and I'm 44. So I was an explorer, cadet. Then after that, I got on the fire department. I can give medications, but I couldn't buy beer. I'm a paramedic. So I've only known fire service. I was raised by the men in the fire service at points in my life. So I've been on the roller coaster, up and down, left and right. I was able to follow a lifelong dream and get on the urban search and rescue team back in 2005 with a lot of the guys at Florida too. And I saw Timmy Gleason in here. Timmy Gleason was my first boss on Florida Task Force 2. And now both of us operate in the same position as rescue team managers. I don't take that lightly. We go out the door a lot. I've been on a lot of really cool deployments. I got to see a lot of cool things on the urban search and rescue team as a technical rescue component. The teaching component just kind of fell on my lap. I love talking to people. I love firefighters. I legit love every single one of you, even the ones I haven't met. I just really, you might be dicks, but in real life, but when I interact with you, I genuinely enjoy the conversations. I really, really do. Like, it's an affinity that I've always had where I feel like building relationships with every like-minded brother and sister. And I'm not faking it, just is what it is. I've never been like that captain or that company officer that leads by authority given to me by my fire department. I don't know how to do that. That's my weakness. And I'm told often, hey, you're too nice, dude. But my strong suit is building relationships. And I don't disappoint you. You don't disappoint me. It's a 360 feedback. And basically it operates and works for me that way. I've been very fortunate to work with companies that understand that relationship. Every now and then, you know, you get a little naysayer, but they don't stick around for too long. It's just been my style. I'm not saying it works for everybody. It just comes naturally for me. And we're creatures of habit. It's very the effort is not there. I can basically just be myself and it works out. As far as like where my career took me, how we got up here today is just following that path of, you know, what did I want to do? Stay in my lane, unlearn the norms. I basically learned everything I learned coming up from the people I was surrounded by. And at some point in my career, right around 2010, I said, why? And I started asking why to myself, not openly because that's frowned upon, right? But to myself, I started asking why. Why are we doing it this way? Why are we responding this way? Why are we teaching this way? Why are we treating recruits this way? Why are we teaching at fire conference this way? In my lane, in my Mayday lane, I'm like, why are we handling Maydays this way? Why are we teaching this skill? Why are we packaging this way? Why are we removing this way? Why are we self-rescuing? And that conversation made me dive real deep and become very comfortable in my lane. So there was a point in my career where I wanted to do everything for everybody. And if I felt like I needed to know truck and engine and paramedic, I'm not there anymore. I'm just very comfortable in my skin, doing what I do, staying in my lane. And I urge you guys, the fire service needs jacks of all trades. But if you're comfortable in a lane, man, kick ass in that lane, sell out to it. And be the best you can be in that lane. And you're going to be an asset to every fire department, every person you come across in your career.
Love it. Now, audience here, man, we have a microphone and we have people that will walk around, and we need your questions coming at the panel because that is what's going to drive the discussion. And I know each and every one of you out there has a question you want an answer to, but we don't want to have to drag it out with the pike pole. So get your questions ready. Who wants to be on the spot first? Yeah, I like it.
Wait, hold on. Let me bring the microphone.
You gotta
to
wait for the mic because
Yeah.
the internet audience can't
Come
hear
on,
you.
Rob.
Oy.
Did you write it down?
Testing.
Yeah.
on the way up here, we were discussing how much the fire service is changing. And I don't like to label the young guys, because it's not only the young guys, but I do see it a lot in the younger generation. The lack of respect for the elders. Quickly saying this guy's washed up, he's no good anymore. Those are not the things that the older generation was taught. We were always taught to respect our elders, the guys that took us under their wing. What do you think is what has caused that rift between the younger and the older generation when it comes to respect and maintaining that respect with the older guys that took them under their wing, and the older guy did nothing to cause that disrespect? It's almost like a sense of entitlement. They've lost what tradition means. It's like an epidemic that's going across the fire service. The young guys aren't stepping up to want to lead. A lot of the things, like certain departments have, like benevolence. The guys are leaving, the guys are retiring, and nobody's stepping up to grab the reins. And all these benefits that the older guys created for us are gonna implode. So we spoke about that today, and I think that's a very good question, because if we don't grab hold of it now, what we consider the fire service is gonna be a 9-to-5 job.
Who wants to field it?
I guess I could talk. I'll talk originals first. Being the youngest person up here, I definitely see that, but I think it's not just the fire service. This is just something that's happened in society and everything. Guys are coming onto the job with no trade, and this is in really no life experience. I can tell you firsthand, we have guys at work that are, still living at mom and dad's house that had to, when they were allowed to work overtime during the hurricane, they were calling home to ask if it was okay with their parents. Also, on the other side, because we have to play devil's advocate on this, we're also losing those senior guys that are so frustrated with these young guys that they're not giving them a fucking, am I allowed to say that?
It's the internet.
All right,
You already did it.
all right, never mind. That aren't
We're off the air. We're
They
off
aren't
the
giving
air.
them a fucking chance. But
Good night, everybody.
Double down.
anyway, we have a lot of guys that I guess are straying away from that leadership role, that senior firefighter time, that are actually willing to give some of that time. And I think it's just because it is so frustrating, because we don't have that bridge between the two generations like we used to. We had those old Vietnam era senior firefighters, wipe it up, get back on the truck, let's go. And now we have kids that are just like, hey, I need my safe space. And that's just not flying. And I don't know where to start with it, but I guess we got to try. Start somewhere.
So I don't know how much longer I'm going to be an assistant chief after tonight. But so that's an awesome question. That's a difficult question to answer because there's a lot of variables to it. So it's something I've been trying to study because of the modern fire service that's coming in. And that same question gets asked in almost every agency. To me, there's a myriad of answers. A part of it is maybe you are a slug. Maybe the young guys don't see much out of you. Maybe you're a mouch, as Champo referred to it earlier today. Half man, half couch. That is my new term. I love that thing. Maybe you are. Maybe you should set the example to be the leader at whatever level you are at. And if you are that leader, continue to be one. You have gone through adversity before. This is another one. Continue to be the leader. Show what you are supposed to do. And if they choose to follow, so be it. If they choose to not, there's their choice. But if nothing else, pick one. Pick a Matty Johnson. Say, brother, I want to teach you all I can know. My time is finite. And I want to give you everything I can. And if you are the one that is willing to listen, I'll be happy to share it. If you do not wish for that, my door is always open. I'd always be willing to give it to you, but I leave it to you. And I will teach you all that I know for whatever amount that is. And if he does not choose, but Corley Moore decides to be that person, then I will pass on everything I can to them. And maybe that one will become 2, become 5, become a shift, become a department. And it may be at the fire academy. Maybe we need to start there. How many of us teach at the fire academy and instill that value there? Because yes, some of these kids come from a home where everything is given to them, and this is their first opportunity for hard work. It was mine too. My parents did all that they could coming up from low income to give Walt Lewis the best chance of life that they could, but it wasn't squandered. I had older brothers, and plenty of them kicked me in the ass when I fucked up. Balance it out for you.
Let's go.
So there's a lot of ways we could take the approach. We can complain about it. And I offer this at every kitchen table. Bitch all you want. I know there's problems. Give me 5 minutes of bitching, but give me 10 minutes of solution. Come up with an answer. If you got an answer, work on it. If it doesn't work now, try it later. But talk to the young guys and ask them, what is it you want out of this fire service? Do you just want to come and get a paycheck? Because there's so much more to be offered. Because when I look at this crowd, it's not a bunch of 100-year-old men sitting in this classroom. It's every age range. It's different genders, different ethnicities. We are the fire service. It is ours to own. It is ours to make better. It is ours to encourage others to want to be like this. How many of you live in the jurisdiction to which you serve? Raise a hand. You're relying on you to take care of your family, just like I do. I trust Engine 14 to take care of my family when I can't be there to take care of them myself. They may be the best firefighters we own or the worst. I don't care. They're mine. And I love being in the city of Orlando. I love being in my jurisdiction, but I have an influence on how that company is going to operate. And I take advantage of that because I want that best for my family. If I'm not living in that capacity, but I have those youngers underneath me, I fail them by not wanting to motivate them, to show them the better way, to give them the opportunities, to teach them there's just something else.
Love it. Love it. Two things I want to add to it.
Sorry,
Oh, Rob, sorry. Go.
No, you're good.
No, you go, then I'll add.
All right, so shooting from the hip, my knee-jerk reaction when Ortega asked that question was that it's training's job to be the gatekeepers and prevention for that, right? That was my knee-jerk reaction. Then I heard the answers, and I'm like, yes, training at the academy level is responsible for that. Department standards create longevity, whatever your standard is going to be department-wide. If I loosen the reins in training in the beginning, in recruit training, and onboarding, whatever you guys call it, and within your organization, whatever jargon you guys use, then we're dropping the balls because we just bought a 30-year investment, 25-year investment on somebody you're going to get very little on your return. You cannot fix that or expect the men and women on the floor to fix that for you once you put them on the floor. The people they serve in the communities that they get sent to are going to be under their protection, and you all understand that you put a subpar product out there that now we have to solve. So I urge you, please hold that line, hold that standard. I understand there's human resources, there's expectations, there's management, there's all these things that we cannot control. But whatever controllables you have to protect the standard of your organization, exploit those controllables for the better of the fire department and the people you're going to work with. Okay, that's my first reaction. Then after that, I talk about if they get on the field and now you're in charge of them, whether you're a senior member or their company officer. Remember, for the generation before us, we were those young guys, right? We were all those young guys. And we can think, yeah, we were different. We were more respectful. We understood this, that, or the other. We chose to be respectful because they expected that from us and they held us to that standard. We chose to learn tradition because that's what we saw around us. Are you showing them that? If the answer is no, do you turn the cheek? Do you walk away because it's easier to just go about your day and not deal with this idiot? If the answer is yes, but then you're going to bitch about it, bring a solution to the table. In order to be a leader in this organization, in any organization, you have to be a people person first. Because once you derobe and take all your uniforms and badges and pins off, we're all people. If you cannot communicate with people, you cannot lead. Officially and or unofficially. Promotion authority given or not, just a leader within your firehouse. You have to be a people person. And then the young guys, you guys all think that you need a mentor to be successful. In reality, if you do hard work, a mentor will find you. Okay, because there's men and women in this room right now that are in that part of their career where they're giving back. Because the first 5-6 years of your career are very selfish. You're just absorbing, taking information, right? It's a selfish take of learning the craft. It should be. At some point, that transition happens where you got to start giving back to others that just came on. They're being selfish, right? It's a continuum, force multiplier, right? You guys all have to understand. And it took me a long time to realize that, yes, they're different. They're millennials. They're whatever you want to insert. They don't know how to use the drill this time or this time, the screwdriver. We all see it. But what are we doing individually to fix that? We can't save them all. It's not our job to fix them all. But are we being relatable to them? Are we understanding them? Are we talking to them? Are we spending time with them? Or are we just, it's another millennial, blow them away and move on with our lives? In order to do good, you don't need a mentor, but if you do good, a mentor will find you. Okay? So the young guys in the room that are striving to be that young guy, just keep doing good. Keep your nose down, keep working, keep grinding, keep sharpening that axe. And we're watching and we're looking for that next person. Because like Rob said, Ortega, the benevolence ain't getting filled, the off-duty stuff's not getting attended, Fools chapters are closing down. Somebody's got to take that ball. Because we're all on a timeline where our time's going to end. And we're going to have to get out of that uniform and somebody's got to carry these traditions forward. Because you got to enjoy them and or build them and or create them. We can't lose them when you leave. That's all we have. The tangible part of our organization that we cannot lose.
I love it, man. That's solid, man. Both sides, the challenge of accountability and ownership. I was going to quote Dave McGrail because I love Dave McGrail, and he said, the fire service is amazing. I'm butchering his quote, but I get the spirit of it. He says, we're amazing at disregarding our old and eating our young. You know, and I think that really captures the essence of what we're talking about here. And it's not new. I firmly believe that back in like 1908, the generation before what we now refer to as the greatest generation was bitching about those young guys who were coming up, you know, who would eventually turn into the ones that went through the Great Depression and World War II. So I think what the panel has laid out here is a blueprint for fixing, and it really is a challenge to each and every person, no matter which level you're at, to take ownership of what you can control. With that being said, I really want to read this. This came from BJ Breacher. He said, just a theory. I think the younger generation has access to so much information, we have access to it as well, that it is conceivable that some think they have the job figured out. Also, the newer generation does a lot of less face-to-face interaction, hence those social skills may suffer. Finally, if the younger generation sees us sitting on couches, I love the term mouch, and complain, how do we foster credibility? So I want to throw that at you. What do you think of his take on that?
Rob, you good?
Yeah,
So,
go for it. Go with it.
So no, he's got a good point. So it's another aspect. Let me be able to look over your shoulder on that thing. So the younger generation, they definitely, you know, so I'm jealous of the younger generation. You guys can learn the business so much faster than I can. Every weekend, there's 2, 3, 4 conferences, and this is the best conference going in Florida. That whatever one you go to, you can always go to a good conference somewhere. So you got that. Every weekend you could be somewhere. You can be on the internet. You can look at fire porn. There's so many different avenues that you can be able to fire porn. Yeah, it's on fire. You're looking at it like, wow, look out. Wow, it's very exciting.
Like a redhead?
It could be red.
Oh.
I'll show you the website later. So whatever it is, it gets you educated, makes you a better firefighter, brings the conversation in the firehouse, brings the tactics to the table, whatever it is. Certainly it gives us a better avenue to learn faster, but it's that arrogance that we have to defeat. To describe with Corley, he asked what is the most dangerous thing to the fire service. To me, it's arrogance and ignorance. And I'll still stand with the answer. It's the arrogance to think that you know everything and I can't be taught, and the ignorance to not know the difference. And you will be humbled at some point to realize how ignorant and arrogant you were, because we don't all know everything. Whatever the topic is, we should be a master. Learn how many minutes a day? 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, at least
10 minutes a day makes us a master at some given point. But back to his question, because I'll go off on these tangents. Let me steer back from his answer.
1 second.
All right, cheating. So much information, absolutely. Conceivable, I think they got to figure it out. But the face-to-face, it comes from modeling. I think all three of us said it in a different way. Modeling. Model the good behavior. They may not have had it in the household. Maybe they had a single parent that couldn't be there to help take care of the child or to raise them up. Maybe they didn't have a happy household. Whatever their environment was, this is their environment now, and it's your part of it. Model the good behaviors so that they have something to follow.
I think one thing that's really important also to realize is, like, especially taking account of time and what we're living in right now. I know that we had struggled immensely with all of these new COVID era firefighters, regardless of beforehand and them being able to use their devices. Their interpersonal skills are horrible when it comes to dealing with people in general. And now with the phones and everything else, their normal conversations or their normal going out, people are sitting there and rather have a FaceTime meeting than really engaging in any interpersonal relationships in a physical form. and it struggles from everything. Like even asking a girl out on a date now, it's not happening. You're not going to a bar and talking to somebody. I'm sitting there and I'm going on an app, and all of a sudden we meet up. There's no talking. There's no exchanging of words. There's no gestures. There's no physical contact. There's no anything. And I think that really, really rubs the old school, the senior guys like the wrong way, because that's how they grew up, and they're not really using this. What I can say though, is pretty neat, is when you have a senior guy who has absolutely no skills when it comes to technology, and you have a young guy and they finally have something where that young guy can show that old guy something, where he's like, God damn it, I can't do anything on this goddamn computer. Wow, this isn't working. And all of a sudden they have a common ground for the first time. And then that's when that relationship starts flowing. So I think really trying to find that common ground, even if it's something small and mundane, I think that could really help with, getting along.
Go. Real simple. I'm going to just keep it short. I'm going to quote Elkhart Brass, like, they're drowning in information, so starving for wisdom, right? We have so much information available, fire conferences, YouTube videos, every company out there teaching different skills, and information is just UL studies, firefighter rescue surveys, Project Mayday, name it. Everything out there is providing information, but if your level of exposure is directly associated to your level of success, right? If you get all that information, but you don't know how to apply it, then you're in a sense like still lost in information. So they have to rely heavily upon men and women that have done it, been there, messed up, and learn through trial and error to gain that wisdom that is so slow and hard to gain. If you don't, like what did Rick George says all the time, if you don't think experience matters, go out there and try to get some.
Right on.
Information is easy, wisdom is hard.
Nice. Anybody from the audience before I come from a Facebook question? Raise your hand, get attention. Mike is coming. Who wants it? Anyone?
Don't anybody grab it all at once.
Yeah, we'll make a line up there. All right, coming at you from Facebook.
Especially if you're talking, it sounds like you have a lot of questions.
What was the hardest part for those who promoted? What was the hardest part of going from backwards firefighter to the front right seat, especially with people who were your peers, but now you're in charge of them? So basically, hardest part of promoting, buddy to boss. Oh, well, we'll finish this one and we'll come back to it.
Please stand by.
Yeah, please stand by. Rob, go ahead.
Buddy to boss, I did a really shitty job. All right. I feel, after I learned what I did wrong, I got promoted early, right? Early in my career, like year 4, year 5, somewhere around there. And it was a tough transition for me initially, where I just wasn't there yet maturity wise. Things that don't bother me at all today bothered me a lot back then. I wanted everybody to be where I was as far as like my level of enthusiasm for the fire service. I wanted everybody to be ate up like me. I wanted everybody to be into the job like me. And if you weren't, you sucked. And I had a hard line that I tried to ride. And I was trying to create relationships, but still governing as a young guy by authority, because all I had to offer was authority at that time. My hard drive wasn't that full where I can sit there and talk to these kids about wisdom. It just wasn't there. I just had line authority. And I kind of like messed that part of my career up in the beginning. And so I had a tough transition. The older guys took me under the wing. My captain, before I became a captain, took me under his wing. Phone calls were made, conversations were had. And like-minded brothers and sisters in the fire conferences, I lean on them heavily. I have no problem. If I respect you and value your opinion in any subject matter, I will reach out to you. It's not beneath me to reach out to you. I have an elevator guy, I have an engine guy, I have a truck guy, I have a hazmat guy, I have a technical rescue guy, all over the country that I reach out to for questions, right? So I created those relationships and it helped me through the process. If you try to get everything you need in-house, man, God bless you if your fire department can offer you that. But you have to get outside the boundaries of your fire department and become an active member of the fire service to become a full product. In my opinion, this is just Rob's opinion. If it doesn't matter to you, it's cool. But in my opinion, if you don't get outside the walls of your organization, you're never going to experience the fire service. You're all part of a great big brotherhood. That patch on your sleeve pays your pays your bills, and you pay taxes too. That brotherhood is tight. You get outside these walls, man, there's a big, beautiful fire service out there waiting to embrace you and teach you shit you never heard of, because you don't know what you don't know. And that was my biggest thing I took away. When I got promoted, the hardships I went through, getting outside my organization helped me in my organization.
Right on.
I'm what they call unpromotable, and I'm working on it.
Did you have any issues with anybody who promoted that was your buddy?
100%.
Because it's a different perspective from the bottom up.
I think one of the biggest challenges I have, and like I'll try to keep this short because it's really easy, and I know everyone in here has struggled with it. When you get one of your friends that promotes and is a boss now, you forget that they're a boss, and there's other people around, and you say things that you shouldn't say in front of them because you have that camaraderie and confidence between them. And I think that really struggles because he doesn't want to come down on you because you guys are friends, but in turn he has to. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I've had to learn how to do is curb when one of your friends becomes the guy sitting up front.
So going a couple different steps, going from firefighter to company officer. Fortunately, our agency is big enough that they can take me from here and move me over there, and I get a brand new group, a couple different people. So it's a blessing to have that opportunity. Not every agency has that. Some other theory is to move into a different shift completely, which I'm not a huge fan of, in the sense that there is some goodness and familiarity. You know, it doesn't necessarily breed all contempt, for the sense that if I am going to be uncomfortable starting to have to be a supervisor, to do it at least on a shift that I know some people and have connectivity with some company officers, that allows me, rather than being a whole brand new kid in a brand new school, I'm the new kid in the new grade, and at least I know some friends. So that helps out. Having that connectivity amongst the fire service, absolutely. I've done that in every single rank. When I made boss and I got company officer, I had friends that were doing the same thing. Other agencies, I'd commiserate with them. Same thing as district, and now as an assistant chief, and I talked to chiefs from all over the country. And especially through COVID, we shared a lot as to what's this and how do you do that? And what are you doing? And shared a lot of plans and that connectivity. And through the Fools, I couldn't have had a better network of people to be able to share information with. So that has been tremendous. But it is a challenge. One of my good buddies, Kip Benham, was I brought him over. I asked him to come to Rescue 7 when I was Engine 7. And he was floating. He wasn't going to too many busy firehouses, and I brought him to one of the busiest, and he got his ass kicked every day. And I felt bad because I asked him to take this on voluntarily, but we had a great working assignment. But he was also one of those guys that we would have fun together as friends and go ride dirt bikes. But then if he messed up on something, it'd be Firefighter Benham,
I owe you.
we need to go speak in the office. And he was mature enough to know that the difference, go to the office, take what he had to, and then we'd walk out of the office and we would be a grown-up. But for the company officers, you have the biggest challenge of taking that jump, because bark, 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 you messed up, sign this paper, you're written up. Now let's go have dinner. It's rather awkward. Whereas at least the chief officer, I can yell at you in my office and make you go away and take my trash with you while you go. So I could be that kind of a jerk if I really want to, but I am dissociated for a reason. There has to be that hierarchy. It needs to be there for the organization to work as a machine. There are best ways to approach it, though, and it's that leadership approach you need to take, because there are different approaches, like Rob learns, right? You can have that authoritarian, here's my line, don't cross it, or you will have consequences. It's not a good thing. Ask a firefighter to check where my line is, what's going to happen. They're going to find it, and they're going to go right to it. So let them know your expectations, set the standard. This is where I need you to be. And when they get over the other side, it's like, listen, we went over this, right? Is this what we're supposed to be doing? No. Okay. And has anybody made up their own rule book? No. The Orlando Fire Department has a book. They gave it to me when I started. It's the same book that a new hire gets on right now. They know the rules they got to follow, what time they're supposed to show up to work, not to lose equipment, don't crash a fire truck, do the reports on time. They're very simple rules. And if they don't follow them, I have to hold them accountable. If I don't, what happens to the individuals that don't? They slide, they become people who are not meeting the standard, and then we have no standard, and then I can't hold anybody accountable because my consistency is not there. So if nothing else, always be firm, fair, consistent. And it comes with message, messenger, and delivery. If you have a good message, it's more easily delivered if you're a good messenger and you have good delivery. Just be a good boss, do your very best, treat them like grown-ups, and let them do the job they're supposed to.
Absolutely. I love it. Love the answer. There's an awesome question waiting on Facebook. So no pressure to the live audience to get good questions in. We had one coming. I want to hear it. No pressure.
All right, I got a question for all of you, but directly to Matty Johnson. If you guys don't know Matty's story, you should find it out, because he's 6 feet over the ground for a reason. But My question is about brotherhood, your guys' view of brotherhood and taking care of each other, not sweeping crap under the rug, you know, getting your boys out of trouble, but truly taking care of people. Your view on brotherhood of when you see people that are not doing well, telling them, hey, what's going on with yourself? What's going on with your family? What's going on with your job? Whether you're a young guy, to Rob's point, or an old guy. One of the things I notice in my fire stations is when I go around to do my rounds and I talk to all the captains, I talk to everybody, the young guys are always like, hey, you guys rag on us, but it's all the old guys who are fucked up. You know, what are you guys? Where are you guys at? Like, what's going on with you guys? So, you know, see something, say something. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. What is your view on that true brotherhood? Because everybody talks about brotherhood. Everybody talks about let's get together and drink some beers. But is it really about that? Or is it about taking care of each other?
Who wants it? Hey, I challenge you. And that was a really great.
You deserve the floor on that one. Bro.
Well, I can say that without a doubt, Brotherhood is alive and well in the fire service in South Florida and all over the country. I mean, I experienced it. People I didn't know donated money to get me back into South Florida when I got sick. It was amazing that I got to experience. I mean, everything from taking care of my family to calling my friends to make sure they were okay, to make sure that my parents were eating because they were in and out of the hospital. It was all very, very prevalent. When it comes to checking on your buddies, one thing that I know I struggled with was when it was in a public forum or something like that. I'd never vibed well with peer support coming in and having a conversation in front of every single person in the room and like, hey, you okay? You good? You need to talk about anything? That's not when someone's going to talk about it. I think that those deep interpersonal relationships and those one-on-one encounters and meetings when you guys are passing each other, when you've noticed that Rob's been in his room for every shift, like he's always on the phone, he's walking around, he's not right on calls, he's doing things that are a little bit different. That's when you need to like cut that step in. You know when someone's hurting. We all do. That it's especially if it's someone at your house. You know when stuff isn't acting right and isn't making sense. And those small little questions, and I'm not talking about berating someone and really trying to dig and get things out of them, but just that like simple touch or like, hey, dude, you good? Is I think maybe 1 out of 10 times you're going to get somebody that's going to really look at you and go, nah, man, I'm not. But that one time is 100% worth those 9 other times you didn't get an answer back. And that's when you really, really get to show everyone how strong the Brotherhood is. I keep saying this over and over again, that we have everything we need when it comes to the mental health thing, especially helping somebody who's hurting. It's there. What the modern day fire service needs to figure out is how to make that bridge work. We've got everything. We have the AAP, we have the counselors, we have all of that. But for whatever reason, we don't have that guiding hand that brings you to where you want to be and where you need to be to get the help you have. And all we can do is the brothers and sisters in the fire service is sit there and ask the easy questions. Don't get upset when you don't get the answer you don't like, because that will completely turn someone off. And again, Brotherhood my ass is not a thing down here. And it's all what you make it. And the fact that you guys are at a fire conference says it all. So that's what I think about it.
Short and simple, brotherhood is reciprocated. If you're having a problem receiving brotherhood, are you giving it? And if you think you're giving it, are you giving it the right way and showing it the right way? I guarantee you that the men and women in this room that experience brotherhood are giving it back tenfold. Listen, you may not always get it, that's fine. Those people have no place in your life. But if you're going around doing the right thing, making the phone calls, making the connections, having those relationships, building that trust, earning that respect, creating that loving atmosphere, breaking bread, having fun, knowing family names, kids' names, birthdays. Man, I got hired with guys that were, single, now best man at each other's wedding, godfather of our children. Like the fire department gave me another family. Brotherhood is alive and well. You put it out there, it's going to come back to you, I promise. This job will always give back. You will have return on your investment. Even if you hit a dark spot, man, just keep being that person. I promise you, brotherhood and sisterhood comes back to you. And I never say sisterhood, I just said that because you said it. It's non-gender specific. Brotherhood is for everybody. All right. So you guys just really like, just keep putting it out there and it's gonna come back to you, I promise.
So to hit on your point real quick, and coming up through the Fools, being a part of that organization, it wanes, it's cyclical. So part of your, the Brotherhood, adversity is gonna test it. It's easy to be friends and get together and everything else when the times are good. It's when the times are tough. And sometimes out of sight, out of mind. Just realize the guys still love you. Being at the Firehouse and just not being in position. Sometimes people forget that you're not there. You got traveled out or you got promoted or something else. For some reason, you're not in view. Doesn't mean they don't love you. Just means you're not in view. So they forget. They're busy too. So sometimes it's on us to sometimes be accounted for. But it is nice to get that phone call. What got me through the Mickelbeg tragedy was the dozens and hundreds of phone calls and texts and the wall phones when we had those of, hey, brother, I love you. Thinking of you. I couldn't imagine what you're going through. I'm very sorry. If I can do something for you, I'm here. Just those, lots of those. So when you have that adversity in your agency, those messages carry a ton of weight and they help those folks get through the tough times. So do those things. And to find a connectivity, if I can offer this, the kitchen table is one of the best places of connection in the Firehouse. That is where we learn each other. I am an advocate of the joking in the Firehouse. The hazing, no. And we know what the difference is. If you need a class on it, take another class. But goddamn, dude, figure your shit out and enjoy your Firehouse. Don't be an asshole about it. Okay? Treat each other with respect. But the jokes can come along. Everybody's impressed that I actually grew hair back after 20 years. All right? That was a month of material right there. And I'll take it. And when I sat at the dinner table, I advocated this. There's one at the back of the room that'll back me up on it. I said, fellas, ladies, gentlemen, I sit at this table and I'm fair game as much as any of you. Now, I got very few jokes thrown at me. I guess they were afraid I was going to transfer them or something. I don't have that kind of power, but it's kind of cool to think so. But I advocated that the jokes allow for the connectivity, the fun, to not be nonstop, but to share the stories and to get that connectivity so that when something hits, Maddie's got the opportunity. So I advocate the jokes, but I also advocate for the ability for if I say something to the first, and if it doesn't hit right, the first thing they could say is, hey man, that shit's not cool. Or not today. Or I'm not up for it. And the next answer back should not be, oh, you can't take it. What the fuck, man? Oh, bullshit. The next answer back, man, hey man, you all right? Hey, I'm sorry. If I was over the line, I apologize. I'm sorry. And that's it. And moving on. Right? And moving on.
Jesus Christ.
But if it's the opportunity for me to say, hey man, is everything all right? That's where I discover that it's not all right. Because how many people are truly going to say, hey, are you doing okay? Oh yeah, well, I'm thinking about taking my own life right now. Very few. But you see the subtle signs. You see where it comes from. You see the anguish in some people when they're going through a divorce and how hard it is on somebody. Or they're having custody battles with their kids. And sometimes they just need that somebody to listen for a minute. And they're not going to sometimes just open up that envelope to share it with you. But that moment right there is that reflection, that window into the soul that allows it. So that connectivity at the table, that starts. It's the joking in the truck. And again, there's a difference. You know the difference. Don't be an idiot.
Can I add to that real quick? Just what you said. If you're gonna ask somebody if they're okay, be prepared to act if they say they're not. Okay, if they tell you, hey, how you doing? Just could be that guy. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, you okay? So that's what you feel like you have to do. You're playing that role. If they say they're not, be prepared to act. Don't just be like, you're gonna be okay, dude. Move on with your life. I've seen that too. People just ask. Somebody talks to them and then they just move on with their lives because they're just part of their routine. Be prepared to act. You got to go all the way in with that and get them the help that they need. And sometimes that's exhausting. Okay? Be prepared to be exhausted.
And it's really easy for us to focus on our losses, and believe me, we do a bad job in the fire service at our losses. But it's also that we have trouble counting our wins. And I'm not just talking about firefighter rescue survey, but if you've touched the darkness or know someone who has touched the darkness who is still here, it's You never know when you're making a difference. And sometimes we don't get to quantify or count those. And those exist, but there's no way to quantify them. But you can absolutely count when we failed supporting each other. So it's a tough one and we can do better. I got some lighthearted stuff after that one coming at you. 2 questions on hair. First one, coming from Sean Duffy. He wants to know, I want to know how Robert Ramirez always has a good hair day.
Genetics. Some guys get abs, others get hair. I got hair.
The second,
There's a lot of work too.
the second one comes from Tactical Resiliency Training, Rick George. And he said, my question is specifically for Walt. How do I grow my hair back?
I had to think about it hard, really hard, all day. And it finally showed back up.
I like it.
Went on deployment, came back, my hair was starting to grow back. 20 years ago, I cut my hair, took my hair down for St. Baldrick's, met my wife 15 years ago. Come back from deployment, she sees me, my hair's starting to grow back. She's like, you can grow hair? I think so, I don't know. Started growing, there it is.
All right.
Don't give up the faith, Rick. You can do it.
You can do it, Rick.
You can do it.
We believe in you. All right. Question from the audience before I throw Michael's out here. I don't want to cut anybody off. You got to throw your hand up, though. All right. Michael K. Sandal is asking, I like this question, so I want to get your thoughts on it. Why does it seem that we are leading our crew's relationships at the firehouse versus also seeing them outside of the firehouse? Like it ties into our last question, but camaraderie or helping families out. Why does that seem to be dying, or is it just a symptom of just a microcosm of society?
Is this,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'll give an answer, maybe that'll help. So where I see the biggest problem is that a lot of agencies, when I first got hired on, had living requirements. You had to live close. When I came onto the fire department, I was one of the few outsiders that lived outside of Orlando, and I moved to Orlando. Most of the guys lived in the city or close to, so it was easy to connect, easy to go bowling and fishing and do stuff together at other people's houses. Now it's a lot easier to do a fence build project by calling a phone number and hiring somebody, work a day of overtime, rather than getting everybody together and go do that bonding operation, right? So that's where I see those two operations. It's gotten easier in the world, and we're just further away in our living considerations. It's like the shortest answer I've ever given.
I think, well, I can speak for our department is we're still super close knit. I mean, everyone still hangs out with each other. Everyone still, goes out and hangs out, goes to concerts. And I think we're blessed because of that. The banter and all the stuff at the station is always really good. Obviously, you're going to have some people that are more reserved into themselves. But I can honestly say that the Fort Lauderdale Fire Department, I can only speak for my department, but it was the exact same way in Marathon, is that we did everything together. It's like the kids grew up. It was like, again, like Rob had mentioned, I got another family in the fire service, and it's huge. It's all over the country, and it's amazing. And I think it has a lot to do with also saying yes a lot, because it's very, very easy to say no to going to do things, because we all have lives, and when lives get in the way, that's your family's got to be number one priority. But it's nice when the family gets to interact as well.
Combination of both answers. It's society, time, kids, space, the way that people are moving, side jobs, firehouses. I mean, it's a little bit of everything, I believe. Early in our career, we were very, very active and hanging out off duty a lot. And then as people got married, started having kids started having events, activities, it just gets a little tougher. But we still have like planned activities throughout the year as a shift, as a firehouse, annual Christmas parties, events that we always get the families together for. It's not 100 people, but if you can get half the guys out there, it's great. But I think it's very important to have that off-duty time with your members and meet their families and meet their kids, because it's ultimately, whether you're a company officer or just a member riding tailboard with them or in a box with them, these people are your responsibility. Not only the person you're working with, who is your partner and or firefighter, but their families and their kids are also yours, because if something happens to them, you ruin the entire family, not just them. I think it's very important. I take that very seriously. I know that my driver's name is Dave. I know his wife is Lindsay. He has 2 boys. I'm responsible for Lindsay's husband at work. So that doesn't fall, I understand that when I go to work. I don't talk about it to the guys, but in my mind, that's back there. And it makes me do shit that I don't want to do at times. When I don't feel like training, I train. But let's be honest, you don't want to get after it every day. You don't. So some days you need that extra motivation and you got to find something to keep you motivated. And it's those events that keep me motivated.
And if your agency's not doing much, you could be the person that makes it something happen, do it in the firehouse, right? Just do, hey, we're gonna do a guy's night out, we're gonna do a couple's night out, bring the kids, say, I got a pool, everybody comes over to my house this weekend, and it's low key. And it builds from there sometimes.
No, 100% do it. And if you set through the 9 L's, you know what the 6th L is love, and it's all about calibrating yourself, and you have to do those outside activities. You have to be the person that makes it happen. Plan that barbecue, plan that day at the lake, and it don't have to be every weekend, man. It can just be once a year, and how much that would be like a 5,000% improvement over a lot of departments.
Yep.
So, but just take that action. You have to take that action. And Michael said max points boys. He didn't specifically give it to anybody. So congrats.
Thank you, Mike.
Where we at? Coming over here.
Oh, to clarify something earlier, the fire porn thing, it's YouTube, just type in house fire. It's that easy.
I thought it was a common term. I didn't know.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I was making a joke.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
try again.
Here we go.
All right, how you guys doing? That's how you guys doing? Reg McKnight, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. So we attacked the young guys. I'm gonna go ahead and attack the older guys. What would be your advice on navigating the political bureaucracy that we have to deal with, as far as when you have a chief that's not motivated, but the guys under him are extremely motivated, but they only care about numbers and butts in the seat. That's one of the things that we're dealing with our department, with being large. Hey, they just want numbers. Like, I got a call today and say, hey, we need a class of 100. And logistically, can we do it? Probably, but it's not beneficial to us. Smaller groups, intimate settings, better training. But they don't care about that. They just want, hey, I just want numbers. And that's where we're at right now. So what would be your advice to that?
Whew. Hey,
That's a good one.
no easy questions. Who wants to start?
So start with the old guy.
That's the benefit of having the most trumpets.
Let the Eve Che do the Ockente. Gotcha. Not an easy answer. So, and maybe one way out of your control, but one you can have some control later. So as far as an organization with 2,500 strong, 28, okay. So pretty healthy size group there when you're bringing on 100 new hires. Yeah, a smaller intimate group. So there's plenty of agencies that are like complete opposite. They're bringing on 1 and 2s. And I don't think any agency is bringing on the numbers and the quality that they want, right? It's just, that's the way, that's today, whatever the reason. If you can find it, share it with everybody, because we're all looking for it. So if you can't do the high quality training with 100 people, if nothing else, set benchmarks maybe. Do you have a field training officer program? If you don't, modify it, improve it, give them task books, give them benchmarks, have them do follow-up trainings, put stuff out on YouTube, on your YouTube channel, on your Vector Solutions. Yeah, I said a bad word. So as far as whatever yeah, right. But make it your stuff on Vector Solutions, not some canned stuff that doesn't apply, right? You can make it valuable, but set those benchmarks, hone the skills of your decent company officers. And if you can steer those new guys to those good houses, do your best there. As far as the chief wanting to put butts in seats, they're trying to curb an overtime budget. They're trying to get people to show up so we can just at least go to the calls. There's a level they're coming from too. And I'm not trying to answer for them, but I know some of that side of the curtain. And it's a challenge to make sure that we meet the demands of the community, because I don't want to give up 100 firefighter positions to lose that money. And then I have to fight to get that money back for those 100 people. I'd rather take on 100 people and have those seats filled, because I got more retirements and whatever mediocre folks I get in now, maybe I'll get some all-stars later. So it's a challenge to try and bring those folks in and bring them to our level. And sometimes they're going to start down here where they used to start here. Stair step them, bring them up, hit benchmarks, try and bring them up, let them fail themselves. Let them fail themselves. Give them an opportunity to succeed and let them fail themselves. Bring them up to a position. It's going to take maybe longer to get them to where you want them to be. But for right now, if that's the best that you can get, sometimes the good or the something's better than a nothing. I wish I had the magic bullet for you to try and fix the 100, but from a chief that doesn't care, if you've got a boss that's in quarters, that's in charge of your shift, that oversees your district, and even a lieutenant that doesn't want to do the training, start with one. The you. You control your circle, right? Your influence. You take care of you. You do you, boo. I'll do me. I take care of my one, and then I'm going to find my guy. Hey, man, come train with me. Help me out. Time me. I'll race you. Make it a challenge. And then all of a sudden it's a 2. And then Rob's over there like, what are you all doing? You want to be a part of this? You think you can? Oh, well, I'll beat you guys. And then there's 3 of you. And if nothing else, how embarrassing is it to a company officer for 3 guys to be outside training and one of them's inside being a mouch? And if he stays being a mouch, so be it. That will reveal itself at some point. And eventually, however good it is, it will change. But also, however bad it is, it will change. Endure. Endure. Be the lead. Show what can be done. Start with the one. Build from there.
Beautiful answer. I mean, it really, really is. Anything to add?
Way out of my scope.
I actually had a conversation with this group here this week about that. And I told them that similar to this. I said, control the controllables. Whatever is within your power to control, within your division, within your organization, within your grasp, control it. You can't control getting those large numbers in seats or those small numbers. I was assigned to, I was a 40-hour training guy for 5 years, from 2013 to 2018. And it was a good experience being on 40-hour and understanding that I couldn't get rid of who I wanted to get rid of when I wanted to get rid of them. I couldn't hold people to the standard I wanted to hold them to when I was there because we needed bodies and seats. We need to curb the overtime. All the stuff the chief talked about. There's no magic bullet. You guys control what you can, set your standard, make it work for you guys. And then those people that get through the cracks is systemic. It's not something you did wrong or it's not because of lack of effort. You're doing an excellent job within your organization. You have a very high-speed group of guys that are getting after it with the recruits. It's just the numbers are what they are. And you guys are not in control of those numbers right now, right? And there comes a point where departments start to focus more on being corporate than capable, right? Start filling those seats. Eventually, somebody's gonna have to come back around and circle back, because when you focus so much on being corporate and not capable, you're gonna have an issue at the end. And I'm not saying you guys are, I'm just saying that will be curbed and it'll curb itself. Somebody will notice that the cracks are getting way too wide, people are slipping through, and it's gonna affect your performance. So you guys just keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job in Miami-Dade, and control what you can. Don't let it get you down.
I want to say something real quick, which is we have a problem I'm trying to articulate this without sounding terrible. We have a problem baked into the cake in the fact that this is the greatest job on earth. I believe that with all my heart and soul. If you know me, you know I believe that. And the problem is there's nothing that beats crawling down the hallway on the knob or performing those whatever the function is that you are connected to, nothing beats that. And I'm looking at the audience that's here today, and it is a very the top percentage that shows up on a Thursday night to spend their evening talking about fire porn and fire nerd shit. And that's a very, very small percentage. And the problem that's baked into the cake is that the people who love that tend to top out, man, at most a company officer. They never promote past it because that is the greatest job on earth and they don't want to leave it. And if you extrapolate that, and this has been going on since about I point at World War II. That's where I point at, but that's a very broad generalization. But if you extrapolate that over 70 years, firefighters who love the job, firefighters who love the smell of smoke, firefighters who crave the tones dropping so they can go to a job, they don't promote for 70 years. And it's an exception. I'm not saying all fire chiefs or everybody that goes to admin, but as a general rule, when firefighters don't promote, who does?
Shitbags.
I'm right here.
Other.
It's an exception. It's an exception to the rule. And so you get people in position, making policy, making decisions, making SOGs and SOPs over 70 years, and none of them are bad people. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm just saying they're not the firefighters. And then you look back after 70 years and go, how the hell did we get here? It's death by 1,000 cuts over 70 years. And we got to take it back. Firefighters have to promote into positions that make decisions. So anyway,
Absolutely. I mean, I love the job. I loved the job I had 2 jobs ago, company officer. I really enjoyed the previous job. I can't say I'm in love with the job I have now, but it's the responsibility I took in when I said, I will take this test. And when they gave me the opportunity to take it, if I can have an effect on positive change, I will do that. I love my organization and the people I work with.
and that's what I mean when I say it's built
And
in,
that's where I got to take it.
is he has to make a sacrifice to want to move up. He has to give up the greatest job on earth to want to move up. That's what I say it's built in, and it's a problem we have to figure out and fix. Or our job becomes another 9 to 5, and we watch it become something that people bounce around, and there is no camaraderie, and the brotherhood dies, and all the things we're talking about. But
I
It's-
still
it's-
ride my gear in the back of the truck like I'm ready to go to a fire. I still have tools on the truck. The only downside is I ride around by myself because I make some really funny jokes and there's just nobody there to laugh.
allegedly.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. All right, next, great question. Great question. Thank you. Who's next? Yes. This guy's challenging you on the hair.
He's definitely got the good hair.
Wrong hair.
That is strong hair.
Seen a trend.
You got
That guy's got muscles too, Rob.
Dan Gulick with CP Fire. Kind of a good lead into what you guys were just talking about, but what do you see as the biggest hurdle for the fire service and how do we get over that?
Nice. I'll pick it. Rob, you get to kick it off.
Oh, Jesus. All right, biggest hurdle right now in the fire service, in my opinion, I think we talked about it a little bit. We got men and women in this profession that are being put into leadership positions that were never firefighters. It is a very dangerous thing to do in the fire service. Listen, is everybody making a fire every day? Absolutely not. Are we out there burning down cities across the country every single day? The most of us are not. There's very fire-centric parts of the country that are still getting after it. God bless them, right? They're getting after it. But the large majority of the fire service is not going to gain experience as a company and officer on the fire ground. But you can't choose your training. You can't control your training. And exposure is exposure. And your level of exposure is going to dictate your level of success, right? So people are not willing to get out there and get after it. The people that should be getting promoted, in my simple opinion, are not, because they're enjoying the job too much, riding backseat. They're enjoying the job too much, being a company officer. They don't want to take that next step to be a 40-hour guy or girl because we love the job too much. And then the people that are getting promoted, the people that we bitch about consistently. Every time I have a shitty officer, this station sucks, this guy sucks, this guy was on a call and he shit the bed, this girl was on a call and they couldn't throw a ladder, they couldn't stretch a line. And that it's like, how do we fix that problem? We have to fix it internally. Internally, you guys need to promote and take control of the fire service that you want. Create the fire service that you want to be a part of for the next generation. If we let everybody else promote because you're enjoying this ride way too much, at some point, we got to start giving back. And part of giving back is taking a step back and becoming, changing your GPS setting from 50 feet to 500 feet to 1,000 feet and getting a more global view and authority of the organization you work in so you can lead it into the future. That's just where we need to be. If we sit back, bitch, and don't promote, then you're just background noise. And everybody else is going to get after it and you're not. And you're going to put the wrong men and women in positions that are going to lead your organization, your culture, your traditions, and your fire grounds to places that you don't want them to be. Okay? Because nobody's getting after it the way that you're supposed to. So if you're not out here sweating, in gear, at work, stretching, advancing, throwing ladders at 1 p.m., at 2 a.m., whenever you get time to do it, you're not going to get better. You're not. And those are the people that need to promote, not the people that test well. Okay?
And I'll tack on to Rob, because everybody here who works at every different department, you all know that company officer, you all know that maybe battalion, whatever it is. It might even be a backstep firefighter. You're like, man, if that guy was the chief, if that guy ran this place, he gets it. If that guy, right? But that's the problem, is we have to step up. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who wants?
All right.
Sure, I'll go. I don't want to necessarily say that this is the biggest. I was gonna say the biggest problem with the fire service right now is sprinklers, because we're not getting the fires we used to get and code. But besides that, I think that's something that we need to talk about, and I guess this is kind of why I'm here today, is that there's no reason why suicide is beating our line of duties as far as deaths in the fire service are concerned. It's a shitty topic and no one likes talking about it. We don't have all the answers about it, but it is a fucking pandemic in the fire service. Marion County, Palm Beach County, we are putting our Class A's on for suicides as opposed to dying on the job in a structure fire. I don't know where we need to go. I know we're kind of headed in the right direction, but I think that that's probably one of the biggest ones.
I can't beat either one of those two, you know. We need to love each other and love this job as well enough and be there for each other as much as we can. The mental health aspect that Flower is developing to help support us. So the network is there. It's up to us to help curb that trend. So you're absolutely right, my man. And I'm glad you're here to tell us about it.
Yeah.
And then to Rob's point, it's better to be the idiot than work for an idiot.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Next question. Who's got it? I want to see a hand go up.
You have to
Let's
wait
see.
for your
We
microphone.
like it. You got to get a microphone.
Get a microphone. Yes. Favorite color, green. Number 13.
You know, here I come.
Actually, now I
I'm
really
so
want to hear it.
intrigued now.
Now I really want to hear it.
Now we have to hear it.
Ooh,
Gotta get
two mics.
microphones. It is such a hard question. She gets 2 microphones.
When is that? Two turntables and a microphone.
He ran. Hi, obviously I'm.
Wait, what's your name?
My name's Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, guys. Obviously I'm a female in the fire service, and
What?
I know it's strange. This might be I don't know if you guys want to answer this.
Shoot.
question.
It's the scrap. Listen, maybe our answer is just.
I've had some crazy adversity in the past 6, 7, 8 years being a female in the fire service. And I'm here to do the job. I can do the same job that you guys can do and that the guys can do. There's been no handouts to me. Let me just put it that way. As far as firehouse culture goes, what do you expect from females that come into your firehouse? And then what do you expect from your firemen when a female comes in? Like how would you go about as a leader, that buffer? How would you guys work that, if that makes any sense? If it doesn't, then I'll try to word it a different way.
Katie, you got a good question, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, you want to start? I can start. Go, Rob. Go.
Paper rocks.
Told you.
Katie,
It's a good question.
Katie.
No, it's a great question.
It's a great question.
Hey, it's one of those that people just dance around. So go, Rob, dance.
Yeah.
Katie, you're obviously a female. Okay. You're a firefighter. Hey, listen, if you're walking into my firehouse, you're a firefighter. I don't give a shit if you're an alien. I don't give a shit if you're a male. If you can do the job of a firefighter like a firefighter without me having to change the standard for you, you're going to be treated as a firefighter. All right, whether you're a man that can't do the job or a female that can't do the job. The standard makes my leadership easy. You can't throw a strike over 17 inches. It's not a strike. That's inside the home plate. I'm not going to make it 18 inches for you. I'm not going to expand it to 22 inches. If you can hit those 17 inches, you're going to be treated like a fireman. If you cannot, or a man cannot, you're not going to be treated as such. I don't care what bathroom you use. I don't care what jokes the guys say around you. I don't care. Any of that, none of that matters to me. That's for you to figure out. If it bothers you, then you come to me. But you're going to be treated like everyone else in the firehouse, because I don't see a female in the firehouse. I see a fireman on a fire truck. If you can do the job, you do the job. If you can't do the job, or a guy can't do the job, then you will be treated accordingly, right? Because we have a standard. But I'm not going to expand the size of the plate for anybody, male or female.
Katie, there's nothing to be sorry about. You asked a very good question. There's not everywhere in the country you're going to get that same answer. Where my wife used to work and other areas similar, she was not treated with the same respect. She deserved it. Not everybody gets treated with the same respect they deserve. Rise above, be the better person, show them why you deserve that respect. Earn it. Not everybody's going to treat you the way you want to be treated. That's life. But God didn't put us down here to waste his time. He didn't give you the talents he gave you to waste your time. Use your talents, put them in the right direction, lead by example, model the behavior, because there's another female firefighter that wants to come on the job behind you and wants to know that they got a good person to follow.
This is a great question.
Excellent. Never had that question before. Yeah.
Rachel, how was working together? Working together, Firehouse 17. I had the pleasure of working with Rachel Camacho. I'm going to put her on the spot. I was working in Firehouse 17. How's the environment?
We're gonna give her a microphone.
All right. So now she's.
Did you ask me? Did you say working with you? So my story about working with you is that we were on the rescue one time going down Interstate 4 and I thought I was gonna die.
Okay. But did you
Like-
die?
But did you? Hey,
If you
I
see-
did. I did.
If you see white knuckles in the dictionary, it's my picture in the rescue with Walt Lewis as my driver, and I thought I was gonna die. I was like, "Whoa, if I can survive a rescue ride with Walt Lewis, I'm good." And
It just got better after
history,
that. Can't get better.
we made history.
But working at Firehouse 17, Rich Foster had a great environment. He's a great company officer. He treated everybody the same, and we had a variety of people coming through that firehouse. And it's exactly the environment you all deserve. We all deserve a good, safe, happy working environment to encourage you to be the best we can. Because at some point, the person in front of you is going to leave and you're going to have somebody else follow up. And we want that the best.
Just one more thing to add to what Rob, his response was, it can kind of like change your response. I'm not a mom, but I know a controversy in the firehouse is what about the woman that has to pump after having a baby?
Federal law sets the standard on that one.
And that not every firehouse has the structure to give her the privacy and or a comfortable place, right? She can't use the bathroom in the bay
No.
to pump. And so that's kind of like a serious add-on question to what Katie was saying is how do you handle a female firefighter that has to pump, has to preserve the milk? Some of the firemen are like, I don't want that milk in our fridge. You know, things like that, you know, those are some things I think that have changed over time, how officers handle it and or what policies are. And I think it's like real topics that we don't talk about.
For sure. Can I take that one, guys?
Please.
Yes.
That's another easy answer. First off, when President Obama took office, within the first month, the pregnancy law changed, and it's required that there be a safe place for nursing mothers to express milk, because it is something that's been going on for, I don't know, since human nature, that's how babies get nurtured, right? So here we are finally kind of catching up with times. And if you think some of these laws are weird, you have a mother, you have a wife, you have a sister, you have a daughter. Half the population of the world is female. So you've been exposed to a somebody at the point, and probably your mother or your wife nursed at some point, and that didn't necessarily get easier when they were removed from the baby. So the ability has to be there. So it has to be accommodated for. It's not hard. It's a $50 refrigerator. It can be a private refrigerator for just that need. It can be set to that temperature that it has to be at. And there could be a room, there could be a place. And if it has to be the officer's dorm for a couple of times during the shift, that's the accommodation you make. But how would you want to be treated if you were in that position? It's not easy. How would you want to be treated in that position? It's not that hard. So it's an easy answer. It's just sometimes we don't want to do these. We'd rather complain or have some other aspect of it, but always put yourself in that position and you'll probably come out with a good answer.
And Walt Lewis brings it back to the golden rule. This is the cool part about the scrap, because we've literally gone from the conference to regrowing hair to suicide to breastfeeding. I mean, does it get better than that?
Yeah, top to bottom.
Yes. Questions? Go.
So, Rob, great answer. You know, you're not going to lower your expectations. You're going to treat her just like a firefighter. Maddie jokingly said, I'm not an officer. Like, I don't have to answer that question, but I think I know you well enough. I want you to answer this.
Okay.
As a firefighter, the senior firefighter, Are you gonna treat her? Go ahead. Are you gonna do anything different?
It's an easy question. For me, again, it's another person at work. Again, it doesn't matter about gender. There's every walk of life in the fire service, whether it's from a different area or anything. And that's what's kind of beautiful about the melting pot that is a fire station. And again, it all comes down to if you can do the job or not. That's it. There's no anything, because there's females on my department that outwork me every day. Doesn't matter what I do. And I'm not talking when I was sick. I'm talking about normally. There's tough people in the department, and you want to strive to be that person always. And as long as you're doing what the officer wants, it's dialed in. That's it. That's an easy question.
It was tougher when I first got hired. When I first got hired, we had like communal showers. We all slept in open bunks. Like there was no individual rooms to sleep in when I first got hired. No shot. I think we had like 4 firehouses that all had communal bunks. And then we'd all just wake up in the middle of the night, and there was a girl like sleeping 6 feet from me and getting dressed to go on a call. And the showers, none of us could take a shower. It was different back then. Now
I think getting on probably when you got on, it was a lot different also. 100%. Like, yeah, exactly. This is the way I guess the fire service has grown in a really, really good way, because we're starting to accommodate things that are just basic human needs.
And make no mistake, if you bust on a female because they can't do the job, but you have a slob on your department that gets to skate, then you're a hypocrite.
So obviously, some of you know, some of you don't know the story behind Matthew. Rob touched on it earlier. It's gonna be hard for me, so I'm gonna try. Be prepared for that bad answer when you ask somebody what's going on and they're not in a good place. This is a regret that I have to live with Matthew. We grew up together. He was 2 years younger than me. We grew up in the fire service. Our dad was a volunteer. We hung around the fire service our whole lives. He actually joined before me. I went to college after high school. He started volunteering. I come back from college and he got me back into it. He got hired with Altamont. I got hired with Edgewater, a small department. Excuse me. He came to Orlando and got me to Orlando. We shared this our whole lives. We joked, we talked all the time. Our way of debriefing or decompressing after those serious calls, we shared it all the time. I knew his worst calls, he knew my worst calls. That was our way. He wasn't on the pulse, but he was the next day's chief, so he relieved. Chief Davis was the commander that night. The next morning, he ended up relieving him and then ended up staying there for several weeks with the FBI and was a liaison and stuff. So I didn't see him for a while. And the very first time I saw him, it was a few weeks after that. And I asked him, like, hey man, talk about it. What was going on? How was it? And he's like, you don't want to know. And those of you who know him, he talked. And that was my first sign of okay. He needs his privacy. I'll give him his time. We'll address this later. My regret is I never went back to it. So if you do have that, be prepared to get that answer, and you have to do something about it. Because who knows, if I could have pushed more, he might still be here today. My regret is I didn't, and I never got a chance to. So when you have that person, you see that person hurting, and you know they're different. That was my first sign. I wish I had seen it. I see it now. I didn't want to see it then, but I see it now. So be prepared and follow up with it. Because like he said, they've all said it, it's a pandemic and we need to stop it. That's one thing we've vowed at the fire conference here, is there will always be some sort of mental health, peer support portion, because we can't keep losing firefighters. I think since 2014, suicides have outnumbered our line of duty deaths, and that we can't keep doing that. So just a little side note, but to add on to what Rob said. So thank you for letting me share that, by the way.
The sad thing is probably outpacing it before that, because that's when we started doing a better job of tracking. So those answers we don't know, but we do know what the future brings. And part of that, I'm going to put blame on the organizational stress. And maybe there's one of those things that Hurdle you asked about. is what are some of the hurdles that I see in the fire service, and it's the organizational stress. So your problem with trying to bring on 100 people and not getting the support, it's maybe the way female firefighters are not treated with the respect they should deserve. So what we have the ability to do is affect our area of change, and I'd advocate that again. But I'm going to challenge those folks that need to change their behaviors in whatever position they're in above us in the organizations that we work in. Do a better job. Because the people that you want represent your agency are sitting in these chairs right here. My name's Walt Lewis, and you want to talk about it, call me. 321-228-3087. It's right after you, sir. Number 2 in the phone book. You're number 1.
Love it. Are we one?
Katie, bring it on.
Is it as good as the last one?
Katie, get a seat.
Which federal law do we want to take on next?
Somebody cut Katie off.
This is not like me at all, so.
I don't believe that for 1 second, Katie.
That one gotta come up. You gotta, come on.
Give it up for Katie.
You
Come on,
can't see it
Katie.
on the scrap. We gotta see on the scrap. There we go. All right, thank you.
Hey, so
Congratulations for winning earlier, by the way.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. So as far as, I hate to bring this subject up to you guys, but it's a thing. Now it's 2023. We're going to have to face it. As far as, women in leadership, do you wholeheartedly, honestly, bluntly believe that they get the same respect that men in leadership get, no matter their passion, how hard they work and whatever? Like, do you think that will ever be a thing to get the same level of respect that a male gets as a female gets, no matter how hard they work and how much heart they put into the job? Like, I don't know if that makes you have a finger up, so I'll go for it.
I could take this 100%. I wish she was still sitting here right now because I'd have her answer this question.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
But Chief Chantal Botting, who's sitting over here, is tough as nails. That woman worked her ass off, rose through the ranks, and is respected by everybody at our fire department. Without a doubt, not a problem. The City of Fort Lauderdale Fire Department is an interior firefighting department. And she is one of them. She's pushes inside, does everything, and she carried that with her when she rose through the ranks. And I wish she was here right now to answer this, because she is, regardless of whatever gender she is a leading example of what a company officer and then promoting through the ranks should be. So 100% yes. Yes. She earned it and she gets it.
Not true.
Do they?
I have an
No.
answer.
Do they? No. 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 No, they don't. It will get better. Times are changing. As more Katies come through the fire service and earn their ranks, more Chantels show their capabilities, the respect is given. So there's also a fewer number of females that have been through the fire service. And to some disservice, I'll speak a little blunt, some women were brought into the fire service to be women in the fire service, not to be firefighters. So since they were brought in as a showpiece, that already devalued their level of capability, and they had to work even harder against a strong male-populated agency. So those trendsetters had a very hard hill to climb, and it's laid tough groundwork for the ones that follow, but it's getting better, and I see it getting better. But under Walt Lewis's command, everybody's treated fairly, firmly, and appropriately.
I think that I 100% agree with Chief. They do not get treated the same. Is it getting better? I hope so. But the fire service is very, pretty fair when it comes to not giving a shit about somebody in authority, regardless of their gender, age, culture, color, creed. Like, everybody has an uphill battle. Everyone's story is different. The Spanish guy shouldn't be a chief officer. This chick shouldn't be a boss. This Asian guy shouldn't be that. This full-bodied, able male never did it the right way. He came up too fast. He never fought fire. Like, we're always nitpicking at our leaders, right? You just have a different fight. Yeah. And it's your gender.
Do they know? Should they? Yes.
What else you got?
Scary question.
We winding down? Hey, Katie, thank you.
Hey, Katie.
Give it up for Katie. Hey, I think that officially makes it 180 scraps in the books.
Yahoo!
Are we gonna do some sort of questions for firefighters? Well, we've been doing that. Heavy fire searchable space. Would you rather be on the nozzle or DES?
Now, I was a truck guy for a bunch. I'll say the same answer I gave last time because I'd be waffling if I did. The search saves the one, the nozzle saves the many.
Maddie, heavy fire searchable space. Would you rather be on the nozzle first in on DES?
Look at, my captain's back there sitting there playing with his crutch like it's a fire hose. Yeah, look at him. Listen, man, at the end of the day, I'm a truck guy in an ambulance guy's body. So I'm gonna go search all day.
Macho, heavy fire, searchable space. Would you rather?
I'm in it for the grabs. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I'm in it for the grabs. Listen, engine company work is God's work. But I'd rather be the guy pulling somebody out. The engine brings, what is it saying? The engine brings the most important thing to the fire to protect the most important thing that we do, which is search. So grab somebody, get them out all day.
Love it.
Jam.
Demo, I'm with you, buddy.
There's our panel. There's
Heavy
their
fire.
answer.
Steve Robertson.
No pressure, no peer pressure. Megas in the back.
I love it. Hey,
100% like I don't see Timmy.
we're here all night. Thank you guys for participating in this live event. Thank you, live audience, for participating in this live event. Orlando Fire Conference, thank you for putting it on. I hope the tone stays silent unless it is burning. Everybody, stay safe out there.
Thanks for listening to the Weekly Scrap. Please subscribe and please share. We'll see you at the next episode.